Hello, friends. Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand new video. This is your preview. Arsenal take on Tottenham Hotspur. It's a North London derby. It's the biggest game every single season. And this time, we are going away to the White Hart Lane, a pitch where we've not won in 9 years. We've not won away from Tottenham Hotspur in 9 years. Can we do it this time as we look to win the Premier League for the very first time in 2 very good decades? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to get your opinions. Do you think Arsenal can finally do it against a shaky Spurs? But again, a Spurs that can actually beat us very, very well. They did it last campaign. They beat us 3-0, and they made sure that Arsenal were not going to be part of the UEFA Champions League campaign this season. So can we turn things around? Can we, for the first time, ever since that Brzezinski cracker at the White Hart Lane, can we get ourselves to beat Tottenham Hotspur in this game? We're going to be diving into the team news. We're going to be diving into my early predictions because I smell a draw. I really do smell a draw in this one. And I say that I smelled a draw in the Newcastle game. And many of you said, because you cannot say that we are going to win against Newcastle. It ended 0-0. And I do smell a draw in this one. But hit that button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We are very close to 64,000 subscribers. And make sure you're hitting that notification bell as well. So let's get into it. First and foremost, I think the two clubs that are actually playing on Sunday are quite in a very good shape. Spurs do have a couple of players coming back in terms of their confirmed team news. We'll be looking at that. But Arsenal are unbeaten in the last 10 games, and we have won 4 out of our last 5, drawing 1 against Newcastle. So our recent result is a 0-0 draw at the Emirates Stadium against Newcastle. It was an opportunity for us to continue that winning run because Newcastle were coming at the Emirates Stadium, but we eventually failed. It looks like it was a mission by Eddie Howe to make sure that Arsenal don't score. It's also the first game that Arsenal didn't score, by the way, this season. It was the only game that we have not scored in this campaign. So the question is, can Tottenham Hotspur be then the next team that can stop Arsenal from scoring? I don't see that happen. I'm going to tell you why later. But I don't think Spurs will actually limit us from scoring in that game. Tottenham Hotspur on the other side have been literally having mixed results. 2 wins in the last 5, 2 losses, and 1 draw. I think the fear for Tottenham is the way they begin games. That is their biggest worry. The first half is absolutely, horrendous. They always lose the first half. They always concede 2 goals in the first half. We saw it against Bournemouth. They just came back. I think against Nottingham Forest as well. They came back from behind as well. So they really struggle to start games. Those first 45 minutes a real problem. And if Arsenal are going to pick up anything in this game, how about thinking of winning this game at halftime? Maybe 3-0, maybe 2-0, and coming back in the second half for game management. So in terms of form, in terms of how the clubs have been doing, I think Spurs are right. The last game they beat Crystal Palace 4-0. That actually shows you the club they are. They can keep a clean sheet against a pretty much decent side like Crystal Palace, but then they can also score goals against a side like Crystal Palace. Of course, we know they're disciplined. They're well coached. Crystal Palace under Patrick Vieira. If a club comes at the Selhurst Park and destroys them in that way, then you've got to give a lot of credit to that team. So Spurs, they're not actually far off, and they're not actually in form. So I think that's why I'm calling this a draw for starters. In terms of the major team news, Bukayo Saka will be available to play in this game. Now, first and foremost, I thought he had actually accumulated 5 yellow cards when he picked up that yellow card against Newcastle. But actually, that is not true. So he has 4 yellow cards, and he's still eligible to play in that game against Tottenham Hotspur. He was taken off in the last 15 minutes of the Oxford game, but he's absolutely all right, and he's been past fit to play in that game. However, in terms of returning players and confirmed team news, the big smile is going to be for Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspur. 3 of their key players are coming back, including Rodrigo Bentancur, the driver, the engine in the midfield, Jan Kulusevski on the right-hand side of the attack, and of course, Richarlison, who has always been impactful for Antonio Conte to an extent. that before the World Cup, we did see Richarlison replace Heung-min-son in the starting lineup. So that is the big news for Tottenham Hotspur. All those players will be available to play against Arsenal. Like I said, Rodrigo Bentancur is a player they really, really miss a lot. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Bissouma, I don't think that partnership really works. I don't think that partnership has actually worked out for them. Dejan Kulusevski is a player that creates a lot of chances for them on the right-hand side. So without him, they really do struggle a lot to get those decent chances to Harry Kane, and also players arriving into the penalty area. And Richarlison just gives them that kind of extra man on the bench, that kind of extra quality on the bench. And at times, when he starts, then it means Heung-min Son starts on the bench. And again, that is more quality for them coming into this one. So that is in terms of the team news. I don't expect any shocks for Arsenal. I don't expect any shocks for Tottenham Hotspur as well. So in terms of the head-to-head, this is a fixture that we actually do not win. If you still remember, Arsenal did win this fixture 9 years ago. Thomas Rosicky scored a cracker. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call it a cracker because it was a real cracker, right? It was around the, I think, 10th minute. And we won that game 1-0. We won that game 1-0. That is the last game Arsenal have gone away to Tottenham Hotspur and have actually won. Okay, so those are 9 years ago. In terms of the head-to-head, in the last 8 appearances, Arsenal have won 3, drawn 1, and Tottenham Hotspur have won 4. Right, the 4 for Tottenham Hotspur have all been at the White Hart Lane. Arsenal have drawn 1 game in the last 8 at the Emirates Stadium, a 2-2 draw with Tottenham Hotspur, and we've beaten them 3 times. The 3 recent times they've come at the Emirates Stadium. So head-to-head, it's a game that doesn't favor Arsenal at all. It's a game that is not in our favor. Whenever we go away to Tottenham Hotspur at the White Hart Lane, it is a script that has already been written, and the implementation by Tottenham Hotspur has always been perfect. We lose. Even last campaign where you felt that Arsenal need at least a point in that game, where you felt like we were going to die. We're going to try whichever way, shape or form to actually get a point. We didn't. We lost embarrassingly 3 goals to nil. Rob Holding picking up that yellow, that red card in the first half, and that actually defined the whole game. So can Arsenal do it? Can we change history? Can we rewrite history? Because what we're doing this campaign is rewriting history, making sure that what has been happening doesn't happen, right? Winning the league for the first time, maybe after 20 years, if we can do that. Being in the title conversation for the first time, I think ever since 2008, 10. That's the last time we were in the title conversation. So maybe it's time to change the head-to-head statistics at the White Hart Lane. So some of the key insights in this game: number 1, Tottenham are unbeaten in their last 8 home games against Arsenal, winning 6 and drawing 2. They've won their last 3 home against them, but have never won 4 in a row against Arsenal in their league history. Now that is interesting. In the last 8 games at the White Hart Lane, they've beaten us 6 times, and they've drawn 2. They have won 3 consecutive games against Arsenal, but they have never beaten us 4 consecutive games in the Premier League. And that is why Cossy says maybe it's a draw. Maybe it's another sharing of points. I'm not really sure, but we will find out, especially now that Manchester United and Manchester City will have already either picked up or dropped points in their next fixture where they play in the Manchester Derby. But that is a very interesting statistic for Spurs. They do dominate this fixture at the White Hart Lane. They do pick up results, and they actually score a lot of goals against Arsenal in this game, right? So it's a fixture that always has a lot of goals, but Spurs end up winning it. Number 2, following their 3-1 win at the Emirates Stadium in October, Arsenal are looking to complete their first league double against Tottenham Hotspur since 2013-14, which was also their last league victory away at Spurs. So we've not beaten them 2 games in a season, home and away, since 2013-14. And actually, let me say this. If there is a time to do that, it is now. If there is a time to beat Tottenham Hotspur home and away, it is this season. It is now. If we can't do it this campaign, if we can't beat them this campaign home and away, when? When are we going to beat them home and away? We are absolutely flying. We have a reason to fight for this game. We want to come back to bouncing ways. We have to react to that 1-0 draw against, 0 draw against Newcastle. There's so many reasons for us not to go out and win this game. And if we don't, I won't understand it. I really, really won't. But that is another statistic. We've not won there since 2013-14, and that Rosicky goal is still in my mind. Point number 3 is Tottenham Hotspur have only failed to score in one of their last 17 Premier League games against Arsenal, finding the net each of their last 10 games since a 2-0 loss in November 2017. Okay, so since 2017, Spurs have not failed to score. Spurs have not failed to score against Arsenal in any fixture. 17 Premier League games, they have only failed to score once. Interesting. Quite very, very interesting. But then you've also got to remember that the last time we beat them at the White Hart Lane, they didn't score in that game. It was an early goal from Rosicky, and it went 1-0. Number 4, Tottenham have won 13 Premier League penalties against Arsenal, scoring 12 of them. Only Liverpool against Spurs themselves have won 14 and scored 13 more against any opponent in the competition. Hurricane has scored 7 of these penalties, with no player scoring more from the spot against a single side in the competition's history. I don't know where this trend came from, but Spurs just get penalties against Arsenal. They just do. When have they never got a penalty? This season, they already have one, and it was converted by Hurricane. Last season, did they have one penalty? Did they? I remember Hurricane did score from the back post. I don't remember him scoring a penalty when they beat us 3-0. But did he score a penalty in the 3-1 victory in the first leg when we beat them 3-1 again? Maybe. So, look, they pick up a lot of penalties against Arsenal, and they convert them. They have picked up 13. They've converted 12. And of those 12, Hurricane has scored 7, right? I don't think there is a player who has scored more goals in the North London derby in this tie than Hurricane. Is there? I'm not from both sides. I'm not really sure. If it is, then it could be Thierry Henry. Okay, it could be Thierry Henry, but I have a reason to believe Hurricane is the top scorer in this fixture. And finally, this is the earliest in a calendar year the North London Derby has been played in the Premier League since 1995, when Tottenham won 1-0 at White Hart Lane on January the 2nd. Now, that doesn't really matter. I don't care when we play them on the calendar. What I care about is the result, is the head-to-head. Are we winning? Are we coming up? Are we coming out on top? So how important is this game for both sides? I think for us, we are looking to bounce back, but we are also looking to get those vital points of the top 6 members: Spurs, United, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, Liverpool, and a couple of maybe Everton. Everton top 6. Maybe West Ham, okay? So we're trying to get those vital points so that we are not thrown away from the competition. You can pick up the points from these small sides, Southampton, Leeds United, and all these other sides. But then you've got to beat the big men, right? The competition now is very, very huge. It's no longer the big 4. Back then in the day, you could lose all games against the big 4, or maybe get a few draws, and then you win the league. But now the big 6, it's no longer the big 6, around the big 10 now. So you need to beat this big quality side. So that is how important the game is to us, and also in terms of in terms of bouncing back. If Manchester United can do us a service and pick up a point against Manchester City, it definitely means that Arsenal have a chance to widen the gap on top of the table. For Spurs, I think they're trying to rebuild a momentum. They've won 1. They've won 2 in their last 5. So the last one against Crystal Palace, they're going to try to put those strings together. Palace, Arsenal, then Manchester United, then Manchester City. They have so many difficult games coming up. And I think that they will kind of feel Man United are quite in form. Arsenal could be the easy team to get points against. So if they want to get any points in their next 4 fixtures, which include Arsenal, United, City, then this is the fixture. So I think, it's a game that both managers will take importantly. It's a game that both managers will actually want to win. So how do I see this game playing out? How do I see both managers approaching it? I think it's going to be a game where Arsenal dominate possession, play around with the ball. We will govern the midfield. We will have our players all over Spurs, but Spurs will be patient. Spurs will be, resilient. They will soak up the pressure and they will look to catch us on the break. Now that Dejan Kulusevski, Son, Harry Kane, and Richarlison are fit to play in this game, I think they have a lot of quality to punish, especially if Arsenal give away such reckless, opportunities that like we did against Manchester United in the first leg. So it's not a game that I see where that I look at and I'm going, Arsenal are going to battle in the midfield with Spurs. I feel like Arsenal still have the midfield to beat any team's midfield and to beat any midfield in the league. So Spurs will sit back, play a low block, try to frustrate us and catch us on the on the break. So my early prediction is going to stay. It's a draw. I'm saying this as a draw. There is a draw written all over this fixture. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I've always been wrong about these predictions, but I don't feel, my gut feeling doesn't say I'm wrong. My gut feeling says I'm right. We've not won there since 2013, 2014. That is number one. The last time we won there, it was a 1-0. Spurs have not beaten us 4 in a row. They're struggling with form. Arsenal are in clear form. We will lack Gabriel Jesus in this game, and the tenacity that he adds to this team, the tenacity that he adds to our game, maybe will be massively missed. But I'm still going to go with a 2-2 draw. It's going to be a 2-2 draw. Tomorrow, when I do my predicted lineup, I might change my mind. But for now, my early prediction: Arsenal 2, Spurs 2. It's a draw. I don't see Arsenal win this one. I just don't see us lose it. It's a scary one, but I don't see Arsenal lose this game. I just don't see us lose the game. Or maybe I just don't see us losing any game. Maybe. But let's wait and see. Cheers. Speak to you soon.